Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakhattvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Namadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the self-realization, and we are analyzing how exactly I should meditate, how I can meditate, or what I have to meditate, in order to recognize the truth. So I am there in the waking state, I am there in the dream state, I am there in the deep sleep state, and states keep changing, but I don't change. So I have to shift in each state. I am there, but I am at the same time not this state. So what is that I am without leaving the state while the state is going on? So in the waking state, I have concentrate on the consciousness that I am conscious of everything in the waking state. So shifting the attention, the light of consciousness that illuminating everything else, because I know this, I know this, I know this, I know this, I know the whole world, I know my transactions, I know from the beginning to in the night. For all things I am conscious of. So while walking, while sitting, while doing everything in the background, I am conscious of all the things because I know. Whether I am deliberately doing or mechanically doing, that's a separate. If I am mechanically walking, then I can concentrate how I am walking and pay attention to the consciousness because of which you are aware of your walking. That's what becomes a witnessing consciousness, where witness doesn't do anything, but in the presence of witnessing consciousness, everything is being done. That is how the meditation becomes. And that becomes the highest meditation. All other meditations of meditate on this, meditate on that is only a means to develop the Chitta Ekagrata, single pointedness for the mind. Now the single pointed mind has to be utilized in this ultimately, and this is the highest meditation where that I am consciousness is being revealed in every knowledge. Now we go a little bit backward and says, people say, I have studied Vedanta, but I don't have experience of Brahman. And a lot of people say, people have studied years and years and years, and if you ask them, have you realized Brahman? So not really, I am still trying. I know everything now, I want to sit and meditate. And some people say, this is all intellectual stuff, you don't need all that. All you need is think, who am I, and then you realize. All these things are essentially means that they have no clear understanding what exactly it means. Now we'll analyze just for the clarification, knowledge versus experience here. We talked about a little bit, but here the relation to the consciousness or relation to self-knowledge, we need to understand this. Because this becomes later why we are not able to realize and what is the problem also. So in this, let's say the knowledge takes place by two type of thing, or information that is passed on, that kind of knowledge is descriptive knowledge, another is introductory knowledge. One is called descriptive knowledge, another is called introductory knowledge. For this knowledge, even self-knowledge, a descriptive knowledge and introductory knowledge. Because we are essentially leading to Tattvamasi statement or Mahavakyas. So what is introductory knowledge or descriptive knowledge? Suppose I want to know about Mr. Jones. So I heard Mr. Jones is a great individual, and I need to know because my teacher asked me to write an essay on Mr. Jones. So I am doing research on Mr. Jones, and I studied all that in the history or in the encyclopedia or in the papers and all that, collected all the information. So that's called descriptive information knowledge. Means I know everything about Mr. Jones, That's called knowledge without experience. Because I have not met Mr. Jones. All is that through hearsay or by reading or something, information has been. So I know all about Mr. Jones. So with knowing all about Atma by studying Vedanta is just information knowledge at this stage. So that kind of knowledge is descriptive knowledge, where I do not have anubhava, I do not have experience of Mr. Jones meeting and don't know who he is, but I know everything about him. So that is what people say. I studied Vedanta and I know everything. I can quote and I can quote the scriptures and the Bhagavad Gita and sutras, but I have not realized. And I can even teach also to others what is all that, because the knowledge, just like I teach physics or chemistry, because I know everything that I learned in the book, I can vomit out and show it and even answer the questions that are intricately difficult, because just as a physics teacher does. Okay, it's an objective knowledge, indirect knowledge, all about Brahman, all about Atma, and I can argue, quarrel and all other things, write pages and pages of it. This is one kind of descriptive knowledge. Let's say the second type of knowledge, where I just happened to meet Mr. Jones. I don't know anything about Mr. Jones. I just happened to know Mr. Jones. I met him, and in that say, this is a great person and so on. So I met, like many other people that I am meeting, I also met Mr. Jones. And when I come back, so I have now experience of, I know how Mr. Jones looks like. I know all about him, as I say, personally, directly, immediately I saw. So there I have an experience of Mr. Bones, but no knowledge about him. This is an experience without knowledge, anubhava without the knowledge. And other people may admire, they say, I wish I could meet Mr. Jones and all that. Say, I already met Mr. Jones. What's the big deal? So this is anubhava without the knowledge to support the anubhava. So anubhava will not itself give me the knowledge. Anubhava comes and goes, because after meeting Mr. Jones, it's gone. I'm meeting Mr. Tom, Dick and Harry's after that. And I forgot completely Mr. Jones about it, because I just is one of the persons I know. I have experience of Mr. Jones, but no knowledge of what exactly the in-depth of what really Mr. Jones stands for. So that is anubhava without the knowledge. First one is knowledge without anubhava. Anubhava means experience. So one is knowledge without experience, another is experience without the knowledge. Let's say third one. Third one is when I am meeting Mr. Jones, and while I am meeting, I was told the greatness of the Mr. Jones and all about him while I am meeting him. So I am having anubhava, at the same time I am having all about Mr. Jones also directly, immediately as I am seeing him. So it is anubhava and knowledge simultaneously occurring, and that is, I know everything about Mr. Anubhava, I experienced, and yes. So not only after meeting the Mr. Jones, even afterwards I have clear understanding of what Mr. Jones looks like and also what he is all about also. So I have both anubhava and experience. Knowledge is called jnanam, and experience knowledge is called the vijnanam. We'll come back to that statement later. So that is the third case, and that is the final. There is nothing else more to know for him, because he knows Mr. Jones and he knows everything about it, and he met him also. He has anubhava and experience and knowledge also. And let's consider the fourth one, where we talk about the first and the second in sequence now. where I've been studying Vedanta all along, or I've been knowing Mr. Jones, I collected everything and even wrote a paper and all that knowledge is with me now. I know everything about Mr. Jones and I can give talks also. Now when I meet personally Mr. Jones with all the knowledge, this is that Mr. Jones that I know all about. Who is the Jones? Now I am having an anubhava, experience of Mr. Jones, whom I already know completely everything about it. So knowledge backed by now experience, and that becomes what? That becomes the permanent knowledge for me. So a third state is reached in sequence here. My study of knowledge, my study of all about Mr. Jones is not wasted, because I was longing for Mr. Jones, and when I meet him now directly and immediately, I can recognize Mr. Jones both from the type of description of his features as well as the nature of Mr. Jones, because I have background information all about him. My admiration for him is essentially immediate and a wonder. My God, this is Mr. Jones that I am meeting. The wonder struck by meeting that. Ascharyavat pasyati kaschidena. So the third type of knowledge is where I know and also I am having experience. Jnanam and Vijnanam. The whole 7th chapter of the Gita talks about Jnana Vijnana Yoga, where Jnanam stands for background in knowledge, Vijnanam stands for experience knowledge of what you have studied, and that's a confirmation of what it is. Now apply this. So this is called the immediate direct experience knowledge, called essentially apaurush, aparoksha jnanam. So the words are not coming. The aparoksha jnanam. So we have pratyaksha jnanam, direct perceptual knowledge. I am seeing it, therefore it is there. So they're called pratyaksha pramana, where we have a Vedanta through this the Sabda Pramana by analysis of the Vedanta through Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha. So by contemplating on the reality, learning through scriptural study, that's what essentially knowledge of the truth, the Jnanam. But when I see what the Vedanta is pointing out through Mahavakyas, Mahavakyas is direct introductory statements showing you are that, what you are looking for. So Tattvamasi is I know what is Tat and what is Tvam by study of the Vedanta. I know what is the self and I know what is the whole universe is. It says universe is nothing but from which the whole universe came, by which it is sustained, into which goes back. That is a creator. Creator himself became a creation. All that the Avantaravakyani, descriptive statements. This is called descriptive statements, are called Avantaravakyas. And the direct statements that pointing out that is nothing but Mahavakyas. And the Mahavakyas is the biggest one is Tattvamasi. You are that. I am what? You are that what you are looking for. Number one. And what I have been looking for? Yeah, I am not looking for God, I am not looking for Atma, I am not looking for self, I am looking for what? I don't care for all that. So what are you looking for? I am looking for happiness all the time. You are that. You are already happy. So, oh, how can I be if I am happy? Why am I looking for? That's your problem. You need to know you are the very source of happiness. So therefore, when it says I am that, that stands for so many things. And therefore the whole world is nothing but that I can point out, but I am that also. So how can I be that? Because that is different from me. That means you have to go through Vedanta. Why that which is also you? Initially we say I am not that, I am not that. But it means I am rejecting the superficial attributive content of the object, saying that I am not that. I'm not a chair, I'm not a table, I don't have to say, but I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect, because they also can be objectified. But who says I'm not the body, I'm not the mind? It's again mind only. That's why it becomes a subtle. Mind has to say, our mind has to be used to say, I'm not the mind. But who is saying? The one behind the mind has to be known via using the mind. So it's not beyond the mind, it's not going above the mind, it's not killing the mind. All that meaningless, because I cannot destroy the mind. The mind gets destroyed only. Mind gets destroyed only when self-realized person leaves the body, mind and intellect and becomes one with the totality. Then the mind merges with the Hiranyagarbha, intellect merges with the Ishvara, and the body merges with the Virat Swarupa, and everything, there is no more coming back. It means he has realized there is no more birth for him, therefore there is no mind also. Mind will be destroyed only then. Until that, mind will be traveling from one loka to other loka, all that. It is the mind with all the garbage, that is vasanas and all that, will be traveling from one place to other place. Punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, jatari sayanam, yasamsare bahudustare. All that is involved in this. Only realization is understanding, and therefore initially it looks like that Vedanta study is indirect knowledge of knowing everything about it, descriptive knowledge. But once the Upanishad starts, it says, you are indeed that. So even the Vedantic knowledge, I had to have a prepared mind. When we went through all that process, through Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, we went through that, where I had to prepare the mind so that I can listen consistently, systematically, what is the nature of the truth. That is required in order to go to the next step, because Paroksha Jnana is important to know everything about this, because what is being pointed out is too subtle. So how can I be this? At the same time, you say I am not this. So when I say I am not this, what I am negating, and when I say I am this also, when I am including, both have to be understood. These are not contradictory statements. Because say neti neti vakyani, neti means not this, not this, not this. I am rejecting one side, at the same time including everything also. Both appear to be contradictory. That's essentially why Vedanta has to be learned through a teacher who knows how to teach this. So what I am rejecting is, I am not this, I am not this, I am not a chair, I am not a table. What I am rejecting is only the superficial attributive content of the object. But when I say I am that, I am including the essence from which the whole universe is. So even table is supported by the existence, because that is what is the fundamental, which is imperceptible, but it is there in the every object. So every world, or any world, waking world or a dream world or a deep sleep state, anything in the world is supported by existence, because non-existence I cannot perceive. Because I can say, are you saying gaga boo boo there? I don't know what is gaga boo boo. What is it? I don't know either, but can you see? If you don't know, I don't know, how can I see it? So it is, and Vandhya Putraha, the famous is the son of a barren woman, because there is no locus for existence of that. So I cannot see, I cannot experience. Whereas here I am experiencing the every object, but here when he says you are that, I have to reject the superficial attributive content which forms idam also, the thought. But what is there is thought exists. That existence outside of the chair is transformed also as though existence is a thought. That existence is permanent, but existence cannot be recognized other than through names and forms. So every name and form, I have to shift my mental attention, it is the existence being expressed as this body, this chair, this time. And that existence is joining with the consciousness for me to be conscious of the existence of this. You follow all that now? When I say the existence is expressed in the chair form and the table form and all that, but existence expressed in the chair form cannot be perceived because existence itself is infinite. At the same time, while seeing the chair and afar, a vritti is forming in the mind, so existence of the chair is transferred as though as the vritti, existence of the vritti thought, and I am conscious of the thought because that's how he said, I have the knowledge of the thought. When I say I have a knowledge of the chair, I have a knowledge of the thought, and the knowledge of the thought means I am conscious of the thought. That means consciousness is there in every knowledge. That means in every object via the process. See, now all that Vedanta is coming into a crystallized form because it tells you the world is nothing but thoughts. Thoughts are nothing but in my consciousness, and the consciousness is that I am. All that is implied. So meditation, now we understand what is involved in self-realization. That's a question we are being posing. Self-realization is directly, immediately seeing what I have learned from the descriptive Vedanta study. That's why Srotavyaha, Mantavyaha, no more doubts. I know everything about what it is, what is involved. Now pay attention now to what it is as it is happening. So Vedanta study, after learning, becomes a means for contemplating or directing the mind to that as you are studying. So continue to study even until you firmly establish in that. So how do I know I am firmly established in that? Remember we told you the touching of a hot iron story. So therefore, when I touch the whole world, hot world, I am not getting burned. What does that mean? It means I am not getting affected by the ups and downs that is happening in the world. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha, sukeshu vigataswaraha, vitaraga bhayakrodaha, sitadhir muniruchyate. So you say, when it is sorrow, it's okay, I am there. When it is this one also, I am there. I am unaffected by the ups and downs. So therefore, says matra sparseshu kaunteya sitoshna sukadukkadaha agama paino nityaha tantitichasva bharata. So use Bhagavad Gita clearly, systematically. Krishna is pointing out. Therefore, you have to forbear, tam titiksha. So titiksha is one of the qualities of the requirements for preparing the mind. So I should have a sharp intellect and forbearance to that whatever comes, good or bad. So that's why dukkeshu anudvigamanaha, sukeshu vigataspraha. So I don't have vita, raga, bhaya, krodaha. So I am firmly abiding in that. That is what essentially is required through Mahavakya Vichara. So all this Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Atma, these are not something to meditate on, but something to contemplate on that, to recognize the presence that I am in fact is that. That becomes aparoksha jnanam. The word aparoksha means it's not aparoksha. It's not pratyaksha also. Pratyaksha is I am seeing this, I am seeing this, I am seeing this, called direct perceptual knowledge. And aparoksha is indirect knowledge, that we talk about all descriptive knowledge. Hey, this is Brahman, this is Brahman, I know everything about Brahman. But the aparoksha jnanam is you are that Brahman that you have been studying. So all the study becomes fruitful when I recognize what I am. That study becomes helpful to negate all other misconceptions about it, so that I have clear, correct understanding of who I am. And that is constant meditation. So what is the problem? We will analyze later, because even though I understand it, I am not able to hold on to that knowledge, because mind is going out again. Why is it going out? Because it has still thinking that happiness here, happiness is there. Yes, I understand happiness is not there, but I want still this. So habitual mind running out becomes a problem itself in not abiding in the knowledge. So having knowledge is one thing, having abiding knowledge is other thing. All that has to be clear now. So from now on we'll say, where is the problem? Why I say I'm not able to claim I am indeed pure Satchidananda. And what should I do in order to claim that and abide in that? All that will be discussed from next talk on in terms of the Jnana Nishtha. Jnana means how to abide in the knowledge that I am. So what is involved in self-realization now? Self-realization is clear understanding of what exactly self stands for, what exactly world stands for, what exactly Ishvara stands for. So Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, the triad has now reduced to the binary, because I am and the rest of the world Atma, Anatma, Atma. Because now Ishvara is also dissolved into the pure consciousness that I am. Not I am not equal to Ishvara. The pure consciousness that pervades Ishvara as well as me is indivisible, and I am claiming I am that consciousness, and that same consciousness expressing itself as existence in the inert world. So I am Atma, everything is Anatma. So from triad, a triangular format, that means the Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, three triad, from that I have to graduate slowly to the binary where there are only two, Atma and Anatma. What about others? Either you consider the consciousness expressing through that is Atma that I am, or existence expressing through that is I am, and all other superficial names and forms that includes the body and the mind, intellect of every one of them is only Anatma and has no permanent existence other than a playing drama, just as the rings and the bangles and the necklace. My vision is always in the gold, in the rings and the bangle and necklace. Bangles come and necklace come, bangles are destroyed. All the drama can go on. But my attention, I can play the drama also, but in spite of the drama, my attention is always in the essence of it. And that is Aitadatma Midagum Sarvam Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Svetaketu. So Upanishad says, Aitadatma Vidagam Sarvam Tat Satyam. The Idam Sarvam, this entire Idam Vritti that we are talking about, because Idam object is translated into Idam Vritti, this thought, this thought, this thought. But essence of this thought is existence form and consciousness reflection. All that is nothing but the essence. The essence is existence here that is being pointed out. So Aitatma Idagam Sarvam Tat Satyam. That is the truth and that is the existence that we have been discussing in the past. And that Tattvamasi, you are that existence. It's not separate because you exist and the thought exists. So existence cannot be divisible. It appears to be divisible only in the mind, but the truth is existence cannot be separated. And consciousness cannot be separated. And therefore that recognition in spite of apparently contradictory experiences has to be understood. Just as science says that there is a sunrise and sunset. Sunrise and sunset is happening. At the same time science says sun never rises and sets. That means we are talking about the physics or whatever we learn. So the science says, the science means knowledge. The truth is science, sun never rises nor sets. So that is the truth, but experience will still go on. Knowing very well that sun doesn't rise or set, I can still enjoy the sunrise and sunset, and that is Jnana Nishtha, enjoying the truth. The truth doesn't leave me, even though I can say, oh, sunrise is so beautiful here. You go all the way in the ocean where you see a beautiful sunset, knowing very well sun doesn't set. So knowledge and the experience may be contradicting the knowledge, but knowledge cannot be contradicted. I know that sun does not rise or set even though I am enjoying sunset. I know I am different from the whole world. I am the same existing consciousness. I am supporting the whole world, but yet my bank balance is different from his bank balance or her bank balance. There is no confusion here. I know everything is electrons, protons and neutrons, but garbage, food is food. So therefore every god in Hindu comes with the missiles to destroy the wicked. Even though Krishna says they are all in him only, but he is untouched by them. So maya tadamidam sarvam jagad avyaktamurtina mastani sarvabhutani achaham teshu avastitaha. All beings are in me, but their problems do not touch me. Untouched. And nachamastani bhutani, in the next line, it says there are no beings in me. Because from my point, from the pure consciousness existence, there is no beings at all. All that will be now should be clear. Now we have to contemplate on this until this self-realization is clearly understood and one moves from the paroksha jnanam to the aparoksha jnanam, direct, immediate knowledge after understanding clearly everything. With that, we'll stop in the series in that sense. Now we go into the what are the obstacles in self-realization from tomorrow on. We'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.